again, my name is Janie. I was born in St. Lucia, emigrated to the US, and now France. I am a music and artist relations agent. I run a small independent music label. So yeah, I work in the music sector in France.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, the reason we want you, we want you to feel comfortable with us as well, but also we want you to know that fibroid survivors are everywhere. They're teachers, they're entertainers, they run private record labels, they're doctors, they're nurses, they're secretaries. So it's important for us to know that all around us we live with fibroid survivors and warriors. So before your fibroid journey began, how would you how would you explain or describe, I should say, your overall health and experience, like your lifestyle habits?
I was always an active person. I train martial arts. I try to eat as healthy as possible. Um, I went out like I had a I would say a normal social life. I worked full time. I studied. Overall, everything I would say like an average life, an
Yeah,
average
she's
person's
a
life.
very busy person, and she really likes to cook. Since you're talking about nutrition, I'm sad because some of the meals I just see on Facebook I don't get to enjoy. But so, what inspired you to share your personal story with fibroids?
One, you and the work that you're doing, shedding a light on something so not very spoken of, and also like the fact that I still feel like the subject is a little bit taboo. Like people don't feel comfortable having a, a conversation about it. Like even past close friends. Like I mean, I've had the conversation at work where I said, yeah, I had a fibroid removed. So I want to shed some light on it to make it a normal conversation, like a normal health conversation that you have every day with, it could be with a stranger or with friends.
Right. And it's funny you
Yeah.
should say that you're inspired by our work because it's people like you who inspire me. Because usually, when you hear sometimes about fibroids and the reproductive health conditions, it's on the outside, right? Third person.
Yeah.
But when I got diagnosed, I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I started having these conversations with my friends. I'm like, wow, these issues are much closer to home. So it's people like you who really inspire all of us at Iyanola Wombmanhood to do the work that we do.
Oh.
So what we want to yes, what we want to touch on today, well, one of the things is your diagnostic journey because unfortunately it's still very difficult for some women, believe it or not, to get properly diagnosed. So when did you first start to notice that something was different with your body? And how long did it take you to get a diagnosis? What was that process like?
So like I mean like every I wouldn't say every girl, but growing up you were told like having menstrual cramps like every month like this was normal. So you kind of normalize the pain that you have every month, like okay, like this is supposed to happen. But at some point it was a little bit more, and along with that heavy bleeding every month, to the point where I had an iron deficiency. And when I finally went to see the gynecologist, um, I had it wasn't even diagnosed right away because I think I had to do, was it an ultrasound or an MRI, one of them, and then I
Mhm.
had to come back in with the results, and then he said like, okay, the reason that this is happening, like you have more pain, you're bleeding more, it's because there is a you have a small fibroid, and he basically said that it wasn't dangerous, and he doesn't feel like it's something that he should remove right now, because what's the, like, it's not dangerous to my health. So I was treated for the symptoms for about like a year and a half, until I got a second opinion, and then by that time it had grown from like 5 millimeters to like 9, and then she was like, yeah, we can remove it.
Okay, so you mentioned some telltale signs of fibroids. So the heavy bleeding, which led to iron deficiency, and for some women, anemia. And it's
Yeah,
very interesting to say that, to hear, sorry, that the medical professional was, it's okay, you're not experiencing anything extreme. And that's one of the things we always like to highlight, and why we stress lived experience. Because you just described your lifestyle prior to your diagnosis. You're going to work, you're cooking, you're going to school, etc. When you experience iron deficiency, now you're fatigued, which means things that you were just doing before, you can't do it now. So that is
iron
something.
fatigue. I'm sorry, iron deficiency in the winter, plus vitamin D deficiency. Like there was a point like I didn't even, I felt like it
Yeah,
had to be something more than that. Yeah.
and your periods were very heavy. For those of you who may just be tuning in, I have the pleasure of also being Janie's friend. So when she was going through her journey, she shared some things with me. And again, we just want to stress that these things are not normal. They may be common but not normal. And when it gets to the point like you, where it's affecting your everyday normal quote unquote life, that's when you need medical intervention. And what actually happened is that the fibroids grew. So you
Yeah.
mentioned MRI or ultrasound as the method of diagnosis for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the second doctor is the one who said, well, this is a little more serious. So what
Yeah.
intervened that doctor? What did they put in place? What did they recommend?
So because of the type of fibroid it was intramural. So that means it was halfway in the
The,
muscle, in the uterus, and then like halfway out.
wow.
So she was like, we can take it out. It doesn't require major surgery. She explained step by step. It was called uh, something myectomy,
I,
hystero.
his,
It,
his,
it was
his
non
sterotomy.
Yes, it was non-invasive. A camera, a flashlight. I was back at school 2 days after, only because I had to recover from the anesthesia.
The anesthesia. Okay.
I went in the
And
morning. I came out in the afternoon.
afternoon. So you had 1 day, you had about 1 day rest or recovery from the
Yeah.
myomectomy. Okay. So I just want to slow it down just a bit. It perhaps is the teacher in me, but I want to give a visual, because one thing people don't tend to speak about, or maybe they don't know, the symptoms that you experience with fibroids depends on several factors. It depends on the size, it depends on the location, and the number of fibroids as well. So Janie said she had an intramural um, of fibroid. I hope you can see it here. So here we actually have a diagram of the woman's reproductive system, and we have the muscular wall of the uterus. So with intramural fibroids, this is where they're located. And you're saying yours was actually half in,
Half in, half out. So it was pushing against the lining, which is what was causing the heavy bleeding.
the heavy bleeding. Okay.
Yeah.
And where did you receive your treatment? The myomectomy?
At the hospital in Paris.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the reasons, again, something else that's important is that for some people, when they think of treatment of fibroids, they think of a hysterectomy. And
Yeah.
you do not necessarily have to have a hysterectomy, that is, remove your womb, in order for you to treat fibroids. There are several different treatment plans.
Yeah.
So you could go the non-invasive route, which is what Janie did, which I think is important because some people maybe they're not even aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also hormonal medical treatments, again depending on the size and location of the fibroids, that can help shrink the fibroids or at least prevent it from growing. Okay.
Yeah.
We also have a brochure, quick facts about fibroids, that we can also share so that you as in the viewers, you could go through the different treatment options. And another important thing is that you went to a second medical professional. Some women, when they go to the doctor and they told one thing, they listen and they no longer seek treatment. How important do you think it is for you as in not you personally, but maybe us as women, to be our advocate? And when a doctor tells you something, you respect their opinion, but you think, okay, maybe there's something else that I can or should.
I think it's I think it's very important because there's also the fact that I would have to I even forgot what the medication was to stop the bleeding, and then there was another thing for pain, and then I'm like, I have to do this for how long? Oh,
Okay.
sorry, Mike.
First doctor, that's like the
Sorry, I
medic.
didn't hear you. Yeah,
So the first doctor, the medication was to stop the bleeding and
manage pain.
to manage pain.
That
Okay.
and that was it.
And yeah, you basically like, I cannot continue like this.
And sometimes it like it would give me some relief, sometimes not, and it just didn't seem like a long-term solution.
Right. It wasn't even treating all of the symptoms, if we're
No,
honest.
so no, and it did grow. So that's why I had like the medication was not working. I had more pain, I had more bleeding, even though I was taking medication for it.
Okay, and
So yeah,
okay, so post treatment, is there a routine that your doctor put you on?
you
Okay, so
know,
you have to do like, so no routine, ultrasounds, etc.
I would have to come in every 6 months, but that was it.
That was it. So 6 months after the myomectomy. Okay.
Oh, wait. We're talking about first diagnosis, or I'm
Oh,
sorry, I wasn't listening
after
properly.
you had your second diagnosis, after you had the non-invasive.
So I had to have a second procedure because of the the placement of the fibroid. The first time she went in, she took out as much as possible, and then I had to come in like 3 months later to see how it was healing, and then she was like, it's healing, but there's still a piece there, and she does not want to leave it. So I had to go back in for another procedure to take it out. So I had to do it twice.
Twice, okay.
Yeah.
And what I was asking, did she put you on any routine in terms of nutrition, diet, lifestyle, or coming in for routine medical checkups?
Um, Diet and lifestyle, no, because we had already did the overall checkup where they ask you questions about your lifestyle, your diet, alcohol, smoking, and all of that, and that end was already okay. And then even after the second procedure, I still had to come in because she had to verify that it was healed, and then there was no hole, like there was nothing, like it had completely healed over. And then after that, it's my regular routine with her, and I
Right.
kept her on as my
As-
doctor.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So if we were to just go back to pre-treatment, right? So your symptoms before you went to the first doctor, and then after when they gave you the medication to treat pain and bleeding, how would you have described your mental and emotional well-being during that?
Um, it was not easy because at the time I was at university and I had a part-time job. Um, and also nothing to do with the fibroid. I had a car accident, so I was still in therapy for a head injury. So there was like it was a lot at the same time. Um, and also my like even the head injury was also causing fatigue. So on top of an iron deficiency and dealing with my own
personal.
treatment for right, for another medical issue. I don't know. I don't even know how I finished the school year. Yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't say unstable, but I would say I made it by the grace of God.
You made it. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm also happy that you were able to go through. And one of the reasons I brought up mental health is that when we speak of reproductive health conditions, we tend to focus on the physical part, right? The biological part. But unfortunately, it has a really big impact on your mental health as well. And if I were to relate to you, not making it about me, but finding some commonality, I,
Yeah.
when I was also diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, it is my mental health that suffered even before my diagnosis, because part of your diagnosis is also grief.
Yep.
You grieve in the fact that you have this medical condition or disease. You grieve in the fact that you have in some ways lost your former life,
Mm-hmm.
because the fatigue, for instance, that you're experiencing, maybe there's something you would do without thinking that you have to change, your approach, etc. And also grief when it comes to the cost. I don't know if you'd like to share generally what was the cost of getting your treatment, but for a lot of women, getting proper medical treatment when it comes to fibroids is very expensive, not only in what you're paying upfront, but in treating it in terms of getting the painkillers, the iron supplements, in also buying pads and other menstrual products, and also the cost sometimes of not being able to go to work.
Yeah.
So it is a lot of mental health strain on us. And looking back, what advice would you give to yourself who was going through that, or another woman that's going through something similar in terms of getting mental health support?
Uh, Grace, a lot of grace, because um the fact that, like, everything put together, and the fact that it was not normal, but I still had to make do with it and live my life
Yeah.
the same regular 24 hours, the same curriculum as everybody else, the same number of courses, the same classes. I still had to work. Like, there was no crutch to lean on. Like, like, I'm this happens every month, 2 3 days I am not myself, but I still have to get up and go to work or go to school and finish my day like everything is fine
When it's not. And
when it's not.
I'm not sure if that was your experience, but I remember with my PCOS and very heavy periods, I was somewhat embarrassed to say that's why I couldn't function. I did not want to say that I can't come to work because I have a heavy period, or everyone, we were working on something at our workplace and everybody stayed up the night, everybody worked overnight, everybody worked the whole day, and they're fine. They're at work the next day talking, laughing, and they're like, oh, all I did was drink coffee. Meanwhile, I am barely holding on. I just felt a lot of embarrassment to admit that I was struggling, because
Yeah,
again, it's your period and people just see your period as something that
it
happens
happens. Yeah.
every. So did you experience anything like that where you maybe a little scared to share?
um yes, a lot of guilt too, for sometimes, like my 9 a.m. class that I would miss. What else? There were times where I would call out sick. um I would feel bad, but what can
What?
what can I do? And even
Let,
and now I'm like, girl, and so what?
oh yeah, now
But
I'm
back then it was like, I'm missing this again. I cannot keep doing this. But and everything was in French, and I'm still learning French. And I'm like you cannot miss out. Like you, but now I'm like, girl, so what? It happened.
Yeah, and then the most important thing is that you're alive. If you're
Yep.
not physically and mentally, whatever you're working towards, the degree, the certificate, the diploma, you're not going to get it. I mean, I feel like a hypocrite because what you did is what I did. I dragged myself to the classes, I dragged myself to the lectures, I put the laptop on the bed, with the bottle, and but it comes at such a heavy risk of your own well-being. And
Yeah.
like I hope my employer is not there, but a sick day, I'm going to take a sick day, and that is something else we encourage women to do. We live in a system where you need the money, you need to take care of yourself. So I completely understand why we as women experiencing what you experience, we drag ourselves out of bed and we get it done. But you only have one body,
Yep.
and you cannot get that body back if you damage it too much.
No.
That's what I'm learning with conditions like fibroids. Yes, some women they have the fibroids removed, but your quality of life before that is also important.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge because yes, there's a social stigma, but at the same time you have to choose you. And I brought up grief earlier, and we're speaking about the mental health impact. That is part of the mental health impact as well, knowing that you have to stand up for yourself and
Mhm.
say, I cannot do this, even if somebody might shame you and
Mhm.
look down on
And I am
you,
100% better at doing it now.
you're what, sorry, I
I'm a
didn't.
100% better at doing it right now. Like saying I cannot.
Yeah, me too. I and that's a question I can ask you as well. What have you put in place, or what did you put in place to try to manage? Because sometimes with the symptoms, it's bad enough that you cannot do fully what you want, but not as bad that it's going to derail your entire day. So were there any like little tricks and routines that you put in place?
I did whatever I was capable of doing, and that's it. So I would always try. If I had to read two chapters and I could only concentrate enough long enough to read one chapter, I read one chapter, and that's it. That's my day. And I will take some painkillers, I'll close my eyes and take a nap.
And take a nap. There's a saying, I know I'm going to butcher it. Correctly, that it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What is it? Can
What?
do and can the rest?
Oh, I did not know that one. That's a good one.
There's, I am butchering it. I feel like I'm
No,
missing
that's
someone
it. It makes perfect sense. Do what you
who
can
was
and can the rest.
and can the rest.
Makes sense.
It, and again about mental health and your doctor's visits, etc. What support system did you have in place? Your family, friends, professionals, how did they help you through your journey?
My husband, number one, would be the first person to say, well, if you don't feel well, don't go. Or who would be like, what do you need? Can I get something for you? My friends, you like people that I spoke to during that time, sharing our stories, that helped a lot.
Uh-huh.
Knowing that it's not a situation that was unique to me.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And that's really
and you,
important.
yeah, and
Sorry.
even sorry, even my grandmother, because she had her womb removed because of fibroids, and like even me going through that at that time, I'm like there was also processing the fact that she could not get the medical help that I received today. Like, was that
Yeah.
necessary for her at the time? Like, was there another alternative? Like even just thinking about that. So there was also the like, even though I was going through that, I was also processing for basically grieving like what she went through as well. So
I'm the host, so I'm going to try to keep it. I'm going to try.
If you cry, I cry.
I'm going to try to keep it because it's very real. I Before I touch on what your husband said, what you said with your grandmother, it reminds me of some of the conversations, for instance, I have had with Robin when we reflect on our experiences with our reproductive health. And sometimes what you try to do is that you try to go back and be like, well, this, my mother told me this, my grandmother told me this, my aunt told me this, and this, they did this. So maybe it was like, it was something, because what we're finding, unfortunately, there's not enough science behind it, is that some of these reproductive illnesses, there's a genetic component.
Yeah.
So there's a chance that if you are experiencing it, another woman in the family also experiences it. But
Yeah.
against lack of science and research, the lack of conversation, and I don't know if you were able to read it, but Karen Nelson of the St. Lucia Times, she wrote a really good article. She interviewed me as the vice president of Iyanola Wombmanhood, but in that article, she shared her experience and her conversation with her family. And one of the things that both of us noted was a silence around it. And I find it's difficult sometimes to track. And I'm like you said, I understand grieving for your grandmother, but I'm also happy that she at least got a diagnosis and she was able to share with you what she experienced. Because
Yeah.
sometimes it's possible because people keep it to themselves. But then, like you said, when we now know of the other treatments, that is a fair assumption or fair guess. Like how many women experience this, and like you said, they were given a hysterectomy when that maybe was not the only option, and having to grieve for yourself and for the other people around you who are experiencing something similar, and that they're not getting the support that they need and they deserve.
Yeah.
You know,
Because when I told her that I had to have a procedure for fibroid, immediately, like, she went to the worst possible scenario, and I couldn't even explain how simple the procedure is. Like, when it's like, oh, when you come home, make sure you don't clean, you don't do anything. I'm like, I can be at work the next day if I need to. If I wasn't so small for the anesthesia, I would have been back on my feet the next day.
yeah, yeah, but that is process when because she using her experience with the hysterectomy, because I believe there's a 6 month, I stand corrected, but I believe there is a 6 month, what's it called it, recovery after,
Yeah. But
yeah,
I feel like
after
it,
the treatment.
and like just abdominal surgery as well. I think that's, I feel like, is it? I think so, because as long as they cut the muscle, the stomach muscle or something, the abdominal muscle, it takes a longer time to recover. So when you get home, you're not supposed to do it. And I had to explain to her, I'm not getting cut.
Yeah,
It's like going for a checkup, but
right.
with anesthesia.
Consider our cultural practice around surgery and medical intervention, I would understand, why that
Yeah,
would be difficult
yeah,
to process. But I'm still happy that she supported you. You mentioned your husband saying stay home. That is so important. Although sometimes I feel like my friends were all hypocrites because tell your friends stay home, but you get home. You need somebody sometimes. Stay at your home, girl. Like that has helped me. Or I would tell one of my friends, so what you doing? Just stay at your home. Like,
just go home.
relax. Relax. Survive will
Yeah,
survive. Because again, especially if you're a very ambitious person, you work in a demanding industry, you know the expectations of
hmm
your life. You have to go to work, you have to make money, you want to get an A, you want to keep your scholarship. You're going to drag yourself, but sometimes you need somebody to tell you, sit
stay
down.
home.
Yeah. Okay. So let's adopt that. For me, stay at home.
I
When
agree.
where possible. Okay. So did you make any changes? Although you did say, so maybe you responded to that. You said that you had a checkup before your second treatment about
Mm-hmm.
your lifestyle nutrition, but was there anything that you had to change, or after your like post-op, is there anything, well, after your non-invasive procedure, is there anything that you change in your nutrition and lifestyle to help you manage your fibroids?
Um, I don't think there was any major changes.
Mm-hmm.
But I did gradually, I guess it was just an overall health thing, stop consuming dairy and dairy products,
Mm-hmm.
but limited. But and and my husband hates this because for him all chicken is chicken. Like I try not to get, I always try to get stuff that's local and not with no
Mass produce.
hormones. There you go, pesticides and
So,
all that. But for him, everything is everything. But I did change that. It's a little bit more expensive, but and I
oh
also
yeah,
feel like it's a contribution to, I don't know, to the environment. I don't know.
it's I missed the last part you said, sorry.
I said I also feel like it's my contribution to the environment that I'm not
Yeah,
consuming mass produced food or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, that's really good. And nutrition and diet and lifestyle plays a very important part in treating fibroids. And a week ago, we had a fibroids awareness info pop up, or we call it an info pop up for fibroids awareness at the Before Plaza. And we got the privilege of speaking to some fibroid survivors. And I spoke to two women, one who said that she currently still has her fibroid, it's a large one, but
Yeah.
she said she does not consume as much sugar, she does not experience symptoms. So
Oh,
she has cut out as much sugar as possible from her diet.
okay.
And then to this other lady who's a fibroid survivor, and for her, she said she had to cut out chicken completely. That whenever she got back on chicken, she would not only experience fibroids but the growth of them as well. Yes.
Oh, that's
It's very,
interesting.
yeah, it's very important to pay attention to your body because as a general rule, we know red meats, um, sugary diets, they help with the development of fibroids, and diets
Hmm.
rich in green leafy vegetables, for instance, are better to help reduce the fibroids, or if not reduce, at least decrease the likelihood of them developing.
And
We're going
for iron as well.
iron as well. We're going to have Mrs. Fadia Campbell on in our next session, so she's going to give you the expert advice. But it's important for women to know their bodies because there might be something particular that is making it worse for you compared to something else. And the dairy for a lot of people is a big one, reducing on the dairy. That helps me a lot. Honestly, I feel like God made me lactose intolerant to make sure that because I love dairy and you're in Paris.
But I that's
So
why I said I've reduced it, but then I still get like yogurt, like they have this type of fermented, it's not regular yogurt. They call it fromage frais, something like that. This is not bad because it has like all the good probiotics and everything in it. So that I don't mind. The cheese is fine. It's aged. It's okay.
that helps me too. More egg
There you
cheeses,
go.
cheeses that have a better quality, less processed, tend
There
to
you
have less
go.
fat on me.
But
So
milk, cow's milk, no, no.
no, okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so understood. Looking back, what was one of the most difficult moments you had to overcome with managing your fibroids?
Um, I I I feel like I would say, like in the winter time, I felt like that was the moment where it was the most difficult, because in the winter you have to take vitamin D supplements because there is less sun, and that also makes you really, really tired. And then on top of that, wait, you said while I still had it, right? Not after the
Right.
surgery. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, after
No,
like
because that, like, I feel like that it's always that time of the year that was the hardest for me, and everything just felt like 10 times more impossible to do.
yeah. Was it because of the cold and the snow and having to manage to
It
not
barely snowed here. It was cold. The sun sets early. That messes with your mood as well. When it's
yeah,
3:30, 4 p.m. and the sun is gone, that messes with your mood as well. Um, Vitamin D deficiency, iron deficiency, you just
yeah.
go down. That's it. So everything takes 10 times more effort to do.
With energy you already don't
In
have.
energy, mentally, for me that was just the hardest time.
Time.
Yeah.
Okay, so what advice or encouragement would you give to women who are currently living with fibroids or and just trying to find answers?
If you can, get a second opinion.
Mm,
If you can, uh, ask questions. I was really, really lucky with the second gynecologist, because this lady, she would sit there with the chart and explain everything to me. Like, she explained where it was, why it was causing that, and the procedure, and every single question I asked, she answered. She did not make me feel like I was taking up her time, like she was ready for the next person, like, why are you still sitting here? She took the time with me and she answered every single question that I had. And for me that was a big reassurance. Even the day of the surgery, it was her who performed the surgery. Even the day of the surgery, right before they put me under, she had my hand and she's like, you'll see, this is going to be fine. It's going to be okay. You're going to wake up and it's going to be done. I That was the first time I've ever had an experience like that with a doctor, and that, and for me, that was the most important thing.
wow, I love that you were able to get that through. So you said get a second opinion.
Get
That
a
is
second opinion
okay.
and
And when
ask
it comes
questions. When
to ask,
it doesn't matter how. I regret that I didn't do it with the first doctor. He just gave me the medication and whatnot, and I didn't try, like, why not? Why do you think that it's not dangerous? Why do you think it's not worth it like, what is it, like, I felt like I did not ask as many questions as I should. um and I feel like most women, they just, including myself, we listen to what the doctor has to say and we say okay, and then we go home.
yeah, because they're the experts and you don't want to be annoying, you don't want to waste time, but that is your moment to shine, and that's what I'm learning as well.
And you're
And that's
paying, and if you're paying, you get your money's worth. Ask the
get
questions.
there and be your biggest advocate. This is happening to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's you, it's happening to your body, it's happening to your mind. Everybody else gets to go home and continue their life. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
So you said seek a second opinion and ask as many questions as possible.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So now we're about to.
And if you have organizations like Iyanola Womanhood, go to them, go to them, get the resources from them. People like April, people like Rovin, and the work that they're doing, go to them.
Thank you for doing the part that thank you. Yes, create a community. That's really important. I know that really helped me in my diagnosis, where it was just good to be able to say how I felt without being judged, even without advice. This is what I went through today. It was so annoying. So yes, come here, follow us. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram. We also have a WhatsApp channel. So
Yeah.
feel free to follow us And we're hoping to have more conversations like this, because it's important for you to be around people who can understand what it is that you're going through. And they're sometimes going to give you really good advice because
Mm-hmm.
they're pulling from their own experiences. Say, maybe you should do this, or maybe you should speak to this person or that person.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to go through the chat to see if there are any comments or questions that I missed. Um, Kanita said, I really dislike when they say that since it's never significant. I think she was speaking about her experience with the first doctor and saying
Yeah.
that it's not anything life threatening, so you could go ahead and live with it. Unfortunately,
Mind you, it was like there was like 2 years in between the the second opinion and the first, and I don't think that the non-invasive surgery that I had did not exist 2 years prior. So I felt like that option was always there. It was just never brought up to me.
ever brought up to you, right? And that is why asking questions is important, but also getting a second opinion, like you said, and doing your own research. Because sometimes you have to say, well, I heard of this. What do you think of this? Is this possible? So that's a
Yeah.
bit. Queen K said, as women, our strength is unremarkable, extremely. So that's going through. If you have any questions for Johnny or myself, you can share.
Here goes my mother. I drag myself out of bed every morning.
Your mom? I
Yeah.
way of yeah, we do drag ourselves, but sometimes you must not, drag yourself for your own
Yeah.
well-being. Okay, so I'm going through the chats. I'm trying to keep the phone up. I'm also supposed to be um
I have
Darlene.
to
Now it's
try grab my charger in 5 minutes.
minutes. Okay. She said this resonates. Um, they've said I've definitely felt the embarrassment of admitting a heavy period restricts me from working. Yes, it's an
You
embarrassment,
should, but
but
you shouldn't. You shouldn't be embarrassed.
yeah,
No, but I don't see anybody embarrassed when they have a broken arm or say my arm is broken. I cannot do it.
exactly. But it, again, it's normal. That's what you go through. It's not. It's not. It's not normal. Support is so important. Without a space to share and feel vulnerable, it makes it even heavier to carry. Is that your mom? I went through the same with my mother and still going through
My mom is Simone Polio. She's
it. Yeah.
there.
So do you have any questions? So Kanita says, when I first got diagnosed, I asked to remove them and I was told no since they're small. And what if I want kids? So I don't think the non-invasive procedure was available. I
That's what
researched
the first doctor told me.
about it. So the first doctor told you
Yeah.
that they're small, so don't bother.
Don't bother if you want to have kids later. But I'm not sure when she was diagnosed because I mean it's new, but it's not. It's also not that new.
That, well, she said
No.
she recently started seeing information about it. So
Okay.
she's doing her research. Johnny is in France. That's where she received the treatment. I know for a lot of people, for me definitely would be the traveling and finding a stay there. It makes the treatment even more expensive. But we do have French neighbors. We do have Martinique and Guadeloupe. So
Yeah.
that is something that is worthy of looking into. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, somebody's Robin said, ladies, please check your vitamin D levels. Black women are more prone to being vitamin D deficient, along with women who have endometriosis, fibroids, and PCOS. Yes, that's a really good fact and something to look into. I just assume that because, especially in the Caribbean, we live in a tropical environment, vitamin D deficiency would not be an issue for us. but it is a issue amongst Black women. So yes, get your vitamin D levels checked as well, because that also can help improve the fatigue.
Yep.
Charlene said, thanks for this. I felt seed reading what the community shares. Thank you for joining us. Okay, I hope I didn't miss anything. If I missed anything, if you have any questions, please send them in the chat again.
Oh, there's my aunt-in-law is on the line.
Welcome. Okay, so
She was also very supportive as well. They called to check on me, everything.
yeah, that's important. Sometimes a call or text, I'm thinking of you. I think sometimes people, because they know they can't help you physically or sometimes financially, but that is important help. But sometimes just having someone, how did today go? Do you need any help? Bring them some food, you know, vent and support them in their event. That can help as well.
Yeah.
Um, Someone said, randomly stumbled on this vid, and I really appreciated the honesty. Thank you so much. So, okay. So if we don't have any questions, I don't believe we do, or any more comments, we just want to end the live here. We want to thank, it's my stuff, time to lose battery power. So we really want to thank Danny for making in the time and tuning in all the way from Paris, France. We
Hey.
want to thank you for taking time out from your day to listen to what we had to say, listen to Janie's story. We really hope it resonated with anyone who's currently watching, or watching after when the live is uploaded to our different social media platforms. Remember, you don't have to be experiencing something yourself to listen and to learn, because like we were saying at the beginning of the live, there might be somebody right there in your circle who's experiencing something similar. So if you've heard, if you've listened, if you've taken your time to do some research, you could also support them. Your support could also go a very long way for them. Okay? So those of you who are not new, who may not be following us, please follow us on Instagram, Iyanola_Wombmanhood, on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn. All of them are Iyanola Wombmanhood. We also have a WhatsApp channel, also Iyanola Wombmanhood. So just look for us, look for our logo, and we try our best. We share information every day. We have in person as well as virtual events where we
Right.
advocate and share information on women's reproductive health. Once again, Janie, thank you for sharing your journey with us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for
And
having me.
no problem, anytime. And everybody stay on, don't click off the page as yet. In about 9 minutes, we're going to come on with Mrs. Fadia Campbell, who's a nutritionist, and she's going to share with us her expertise and the link between nutrition, diet, and fibroids. Okay? Someone is showing up there. French. Merci beaucoup.
De rien.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.